5 months after starting my agency, I did $40,000 in a single month. The next month, I did zero. And then I went back to I'm Coco, and this is a story of how I went from a freelancer to an agency owner. The ups, the downs, the lessons that changed absolutely everything. More importantly, this is what happens when you decide to stick to something for longer than a month. Let me set the scene because you probably don't know who I am. 2 years ago, after freelancing for nearly 10 years as a videographer, I decided to start an agency. But things did not go as planned. The first 16 months, I basically spent trying to figure out what business to start, running out of cash in the process, and then everything changed when I got some advice from some friends that were running an ads agency. And so I decided, I'm gonna make an ads agency. Only problem was, I'd never made an ad in my life. Sure, I'd helped people produce ads, but that was just pointing the camera in the right direction and making sure things sounded and looked good. But I had no idea what actually made people buy something from an ad. So let's take you back to the beginning. August 2023 was when I officially made my company. Let's make better content. It's a bit cringe, I know. It's now called Yogurt Media, so yeah, I'm probably not the best at naming companies, but I digress. And for the first 16 months, I wasn't really building a business. I was doing the classic thing of starting something and not doing it for long enough and then being discouraged by it. This happened enough times for me to realize, I don't think it's the business model that's the problem. I think it's me that's the problem. Turns out business is hard, and hard things take hard work and a long time to achieve. It was definitely longer and harder than I thought. So anyway, in December 2024, I had an interaction with someone who was like, Coco, you're obviously a competent guy and you can get good at stuff quick, but there's a problem with that, which means you end up starting a lot of things that you don't really become very good at anything. And his exact words were, you have to treat this as a cancer. Find something and stick with it, which I thought was a bit extreme, but to be honest, he had a point. So I decided for the next year, I was gonna spend every single minute trying to build an ads agency. I had already had a proof of concept, to be honest, from my friends because they just built their ads agency and I was helping on the production side. It's one thing to film an ad, it's a whole different thing trying to run a company around making ads. The first 2 months, complete mess. Didn't know how to make ads, managed to get 2 clients from referrals, and the whole thing was a bit of a shambles really. But then came March. That's when everything changed. As soon as I finished the service delivery for the second client, I decided to make a little video about how we did the process. So I made this video, it took me about 2 hours, posted it on my Instagram, and I thought it was a cool video. Got some engagement. Then this guy came along who ended up becoming my business coach. I was like, bro, run this video as an ad. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, I had never run an ad before. I didn't know what Ads Manager was, really. I didn't know what Meta Business Suite was. So anyway, I went on Meta's business side of things, made an account, and I started running that video posted on my Instagram, which you'll probably see somewhere, as an ad. I started running ads yesterday for the first time, like to my website, and it changed everything. I started booking some days up to 8 sales calls, and I'd never done sales before. So I had to scramble. I got some help with making a pitch and a presentation, made some offers, and started selling. Before I know it, people were signing on. I had clients coming in that weren't referrals and wanted the thing I was selling. I finally had a business. Complete side note here, I ended up being quite good at sales, and I actually still run that ad to this day, and it's the only way I actually get clients. And my return on ad spend is something like 40x, which means every dollar I put in it, I get $40 back in revenue, which is absolutely insane, by the way. So this deserves its own video and story, which I'm going to make in the future. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that, because it's honestly insane. Anyway, so yeah, I was signing clients, but I mean, it was still a mess. I was basically failing forward, which some people say is a good tactic. End of May, it was getting quite overwhelming. So I decided to stop running the ad, but I had one last sales call, and what a call it was. I jump on it, don't think of it as much, and the guy comes on and he basically just sells himself onto me. He wants the thing we do. I don't have to do any selling, but the project is 3 times the size of anything we've done so far. So all of a sudden, between him and the other clients, in May we closed in on $40,000 in revenue, which was insane. But guess how much we did in June? 0. But it was on purpose. I wanted to make sure that our service delivery was still good. This client came on, he gave us a chance, and I wanted to make sure I honored that. So I spent the whole of June trying to make sure we deliver amazing ads. And to be honest, we did pretty well. We over-delivered on some part, we fell short on some of the other ones, but the client was happy and we produced some really good work for our portfolio. Since then, I've managed to sign a few more clients. I've managed to actually build a team, which we now have 2 video editors, we have a virtual assistant, there's a creative strategist, and recently the last missing piece of the puzzle came into place, which was someone to do operations/project management. And I feel like this is the end of the beginning, which is a really exciting place to be because it's taken 2 years to get here. So what's next? Scale the fucking shit out of this thing, baby. It's time to make a real business. We now entered the last phase of the year, which is nearly Q4, and this is where brands start spending lots more money, and it's a great opportunity for us to grow and see how much we can actually achieve in a short space of time. I definitely could have gone here quicker. If I could see myself 2 years ago, I would just say, whatever it is that you're doing, stick with it for at least a year. Because this first business, it's not the last business you're gonna do. There's so many skills that you need to learn to actually run a business, that the longer you hold off on trying to decide what to do and doing something for a month and doing another thing for another month, that you never really get enough depth of what it actually takes to do this. If you're trying to build something, just trust me, just stick with it for 1 year. And if it's not working after a year, cool, move on. But one thing, it's honestly been life-changing. So thank you for joining me on this journey so far. This is only the beginning. Lots of love, Coco.